At one particular time, I did talk about. I did say Terence Crawford.
Okay.
Now, but what are we rating these fighters on? What are we rating these fighters on?
Floyd Mayweather's eyeball test.
That works
You're
for me.
eyeballing these guys. You watch Terence Crawford. You know why he has his problem getting the other welterweights in the ring with him.
Yo, yeah, so if he was pound for pound, Floyd was pound for pound. You or Floyd, who would have done that? Who would have won that?
Me.
Because I think Floyd at his best was a better defensive fighter than Crawford. Crawford's a better offensive fighter, but in those kind of matchups, I think defense usually beats the offense.
Floyd Mayweather just clapped back at Terence Crawford during a live interview, arguing that Crawford doesn't even deserve a spot on the pound-for-pound list. Meanwhile, Stephen A. Smith doubled down in Crawford's defense, calling him the best fighter on the planet, the true pound-for-pound king, pointing to his dominance in the four-belt era where he became undisputed world champion.
Terence Crawford is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this four-belt era,
Oscar De La Hoya went even further, praising Floyd Mayweather as the best trainer he has ever worked with. He claimed that if Floyd ever stepped into the ring with Terence Crawford, he would reinvent himself completely, revitalizing his style and transforming into a brand new fighter. According to De La Hoya, that's the true measure of Floyd's greatness. For me, Floyd is the best trainer I've ever had in my life.
Floyd, for me, is the best trainer I've ever had in my life. He would revitalize his style. He would make him a new fighter. That's how great Floyd is.
However, Max Kellerman brought a more analytical take to the debate. He argued that at his absolute peak, Floyd Mayweather was the superior defensive fighter, while Terence Crawford stands out as the better offensive force. But when styles clash at the highest level, Kellerman reminded everyone of a timeless truth in boxing. Defense usually prevails over offense.
Because I think Floyd at his best was a better defensive fighter than Crawford. Crawford's a better offensive fighter, but in those kind of matchups, I think defense usually beats the offense.
Furthermore, Robert Garcia weighed in, pointing out that while Terence Crawford made history by becoming undisputed, in a true prime-for-prime showdown, he would still lean toward legends like Floyd Mayweather or Manny Pacquiao. Even so, Garcia emphasized that Crawford has already cemented his place among the all-time greats.
Mayweather never became undisputed. He's a 5-division champion, but never became undisputed. Never really followed that unification, stuff like that. So I think when it comes to accomplishments, I think he's already done more. In a fight, I probably still pick Mayweather. Both in the prime, I would probably pick Mayweather to win. Just like I would probably pick Pacquiao to win, both in the prime.
Ooh, to beat Crawford.
I think so.
Prime for prime? Nice.
Yeah. But is Crawford one of the greatest of all time? 100%. There definitely he is.
Danny Garcia added that since Floyd Mayweather is nearly a decade older than Terence Crawford, a truly competitive fight wouldn't make much sense. However, he suggested that an exhibition bout between the two would be both exciting and fitting, creating a spectacle fans would love to see.
It'd be hard. I mean, they're not that separated in age, right?
I think Terence is 38. I think Floyd, I am not sure, he's either 10 years older or 12 years older. I don't know if he's 48 or 50.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get the best Floyd, so I don't think it makes sense. Exhibition
would be crazy, actually.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Exhibition would be crazy, actually.
Yeah, I think that'll make a lot of sense.
Errol Spence Jr. explained that Floyd Mayweather's brilliant ring IQ and legendary tactical ability put him on an entirely different level, which is why he considers Floyd one of the greatest fighters in boxing history.
It's a little different because, Floyd is different. I feel like he's the best fighter. I don't know about all time. He might be the best fighter all time. If not, he's close, 2-3, and not by far. So it's just it's a little bit different things that Floyd does. And Floyd was a lot older when I sparred him, and it's just certain things that he does that that's really tricky. Like the guy we get in the clinch, he was like squeezing my nose, and I couldn't breathe and stuff like that. So it's just certain things that he do in there. It's just veteran stuff, just veteran all-time type stuff he was doing in our part.
He also added that while a clash between Crawford and Mayweather can only be imagined, Floyd's unparalleled psychological edge sets him apart from every other fighter. making him truly unmatched in that aspect.
Floyd would beat Crawford, would you think? I know that's just a fantasy matchup.
Man, I don't know.
I'm reaching,
I
you know.
don't get into all that.
Yeah.
I don't know who went out. Sugar Ray Robinson and Floyd.
You know.
I don't know.
But for Floyd was the best work, just like mental games and everything.
Oh yeah, mentally, he by far, I feel like he's the best. He's the best man.
Coach Bernie stated that if Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford had met in their primes, Floyd would have emerged victorious by breaking Crawford down with pinpoint jabs, sharp hooks, relentless body shots, and airtight defense, ultimately taking control of the fight in the later rounds.
Floyd, just hypothetically speaking, just looking at, two fighters, you got Floyd and you got Crawford in their prime. Who you picking?
Can we all give an opinion on that?
Yeah, you want to?
Yeah, I got an opinion on that too.
Coach, what you think?
I'm listening to you, Rep.
Floyd versus a prime Mayweather. We can go Pretty Boy. We can go Money May versus Terence Crawford in his prime. Who we got?
I think Money May would have shut Crawford down. He would have bored him to sleep like he do these fighters.
Yeah.
He would have jabbed him, hooked him, sticking in the body. You know what I'm saying? And then when the fighters swing back, Floyd nowhere to be found. So mentally, they're draining.
Yeah.
And about the 6th or 7th round, that's when you start picking up, putting the combination together.
MMA analyst Luke Thomas observed that Terence Crawford's rise to the top came later in his career, but he still considers him one of the sharpest defensive fighters ever, praising his ability to cut off the ring, track opponents, and neutralize them no matter where they try to move.
Problem with Bud's career, right? It bloomed kind of late. I find Bud to be as defensively sound as I've ever seen a fighter. He can find you. There's nowhere to hide with him.
Like Floyd, he has such control over the terms in there. It's just insane.
Ryan Clark remarked that Floyd Mayweather defined his entire era, overwhelming opponents with flawless technique and unmatched mental toughness, cementing himself as the ultimate symbol of boxing dominance throughout the 2000s.
Here's why I say that. Bud is extremely skilled, right? Yet not as skilled as Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather made people look foolish, right? And so if I had to say who's the greatest I've seen, and Bud said it, right? The best of an era and the best of an era, it's Floyd. But when I watched Bud against Canelo, there was this extreme skill on display, and there was a level of crazy that's different. There was a level of, and Floyd's extremely tough. Go back to Shane Mosley and the 2 punches he landed early in the fight and the way that he embarrassed him. I'm not saying that Floyd's not tough, Floyd's not a bad man, but there was domination inside that ring we saw this week.
He added that Terence Crawford has carved out his own legacy of greatness, dismantling elite names like Errol Spence and Canelo with authority, proving not only his elite skill set, but also his fearlessness in taking on the biggest challenges.
There's no fear in him in the way that he's attacked, gaining notoriety. Bud's been the baddest man for 12 years, but no one gave him credit because he didn't go tell you he was the baddest man. He didn't market that. He just went out and fought and beat people and knocked people out. So he had to move up and take the bigger fights and the better fights. And he was Errol Spence. We realized just how great he was. Canelo cemented him on what is the two-headed monster that marks the greatest of the 2000s. Floyd Mayweather is on that, and Bud Crawford is right next to him. I don't think we have to pick on who's better. I think they both dominated their era.
Max Kellerman noted that while Floyd Mayweather's resume is undeniably deeper, Terence Crawford has consistently demonstrated a greater willingness to face anyone placed in front of him.
Wild, because if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time.
Oh, yes.
That makes a difference.
Jeff Mayweather highlighted Floyd Mayweather's decisive victory over a young Canelo Alvarez as undeniable proof of Floyd's brilliance in the ring, while also acknowledging the raw promise Canelo displayed early in his career.
Also, if we remember, Canelo at that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. CJ Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. And then the other two judges scored it for Floyd, of course. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he took him, into deep waters. So
what was Canelo? What, 20-something? 20 what? 23, 25?
Yeah, he was. Very, very young in the game, obviously.